All right, we are going to call this meeting to order. We are going to do a roll call first. Katie?
Katie Schultman.
Joe Zalek?
Mark Monturo, Jim Pino,
Kevin Salinas.
David Waddle. Eric Opegard. And online you have Lauren and Sean Owens from the Camera Advisory Group.
Somebody can you just text Alec?
He's joining.
There he is. Alex is hopping on now.
Okay, and Alec, are you on? Can you hear us?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, good. All right, we just called to order. Owners' comments. I have no owners. Fine, going once, twice sold. Okay, first topic is the multi-function sports courts. I am going to, at this time, read a letter that we are going to send to the board of directors after this meeting, after comment, corrections, additions, etc. So again, I'll read it for the benefit of those online, or so it's part of the public record. Dear members of the CROA Board of Directors, over the past 3 years, CROA Master Planning Group has worked diligently not only to develop a resident-driven strategic vision for Celebration, but also to help turn that vision into meaningful improvements for our community. Earlier this year, we were extremely proud to deliver the new Celebration splash pad and as updated the 851 building. As the first major new CROA-sponsored amenity since 2018, the splash pad's overwhelmingly positive reception has been reinforced, something we clearly heard throughout the master planning process. Celebration residents want our community to continue investing in its amenities and its future. Second major project identified for implementation is the Celebration Sports Center, which is envisioned to provide approximately 22 courts and play areas supporting 6 sports, along with other amenities for residents of all ages. The need for additional sports facility is not new. This need for sports courts was first identified as far back as 2014, and our master planning group subsequently identified pickleball, lawn sports, and basketball among the community's highest priorities. Eric's already on page 2. Good for you, Eric. Okay. The project formally moved forward in 2025 with an RFP for design services. Since then, the project has undergone numerous refinements. Earlier this year, the Master Planning Group presented to the board an overview of the proposed sports center and its scope. At the board's direction, we have now issued a construction RFP and anticipate returning to the board later this year with results and a recommendation. The underlying need for the project has not changed. Community priorities have not changed. Fundamental scope and project have not materially changed since the master plan was presented 2 years ago. What has changed and what the master plan group believes now requires a candid discussion is the manner in which CROA's capital resources are being funded and utilized. In 2024, residents approved the charter amendment to increase the one-time capital contribution paid by its new homeowners. The materials provided to the town, to the residents by Town Hall were clear about the purpose and rationale for this change. The amendment clearly stated the goal is to provide additional funding for improvements without raising annual dues for current residents. The accompanying Q&A further explained that these funds would support improvements, new, repaired, and replaced amenities and Celebration. We fully recognize that the charter provides the board with the authority and the flexibility to utilize and borrow capital funds when necessary to address operating requirements. We're not questioning that authority, nor are we suggesting the board, not facing difficulties of decisions and they got competing priorities. However, we believe it is important to recognize the magnitude of the change that has occurred. In 2024, $685,000 was allocated to the capital fund to support such improvements and much needed capital projects. The amount was reduced to $550,000 last year, and it's now projected to go to zero. In addition, approximately $200,000 has been transferred from the capital fund to current budget shortfalls. Taken together, this represents a swing of $885,000 in resources that otherwise could have been available to invest in Celebration's capital needs and future amenities. That is significant. Again, the master planning group is not questioning the board's authority to make decisions or suggesting operating needs should be ignored. We are, however, asking to not lose sight of the equally important responsibility to continue investing in long-term quality, competitive, and desirability of Celebration. Capital contribution revenue. We also believe new home sales this year provide a reason for optimism. With the master planning group, that was me in January, presented, we were surprised that there was a significant difference between Grand Manor's projection for capital contributions from new home sales versus the projection provided by this group through Jim. Through July, we have already exceeded the full year amount of capital contributions originally forecasted by Grand Manors for the full year in January. We've done it through July. This is an important data point. When no one can predict future home sales, we should be equally careful not to be overly conservative, or that the overly conservative projections to become a reason for postponing investments that the community has identified as priorities. Conservative financial planning is prudent. Allowing pessimistic assumptions to prevent reasonable investments in Celebration's future is not. Despite these operating shortfalls, transfers, etc., Master Planning Group believes the current capital position combined with anticipated future contributions provides a reasonable basis for continuing to move forward with the sports center forward. We are averaging $158,000 a month in contributions from the capital fund from new home sales. We are not asking the board to approve construction of the sports center. Such an approval would be premature. Responsible course is to complete the RFP process, evaluate, update balances, etc. So get tired of reading. All right, last page. What we are asking for from the board is clarity. Specifically, we're asking the Crowe board to confirm that, assuming there's sufficient funds available from the capital fund in the fourth quarter, along with projections for 2027, that they will support the investment and that the board remains committed to moving forward with the sports center. This confirmation is important. The Master Planning Group, Crowe staff, consultants, vendors, and volunteers have invested substantial time and effort to the project in its current stage. More importantly, Celebration residents have been waiting for additional sports facilities for more than a decade. Mark behind me spent considerable time working with the design team, changing that plan. I kept saying, Mark, move this there, move that there. He said, no, I'm moving this here, move that. A lot of time spent by lots of people since the early last year on this project. The splash pad and 851 renovation demonstrates what can be done when the board, the staff, Master Planning Group, and residents work together to take those priorities from concept to completion. We believe the sports center should be the next example. There will always be competing demands for resources. There will always be a reason to delay a major improvement. But Celebration cannot maintain its extraordinary character simply by funding today's operations. The residents who supported the charter amendment were told additional contributions would go towards new amenities. We believe it's important that Crowe continue to honor both the spirit and stated purpose behind that commitment. Master Planning Group looks forward to completing the RFP process, returning to the board this fall with construction results, updated financial information, and a formal recommendation. We can ensure that the capital project, we can be flexible on it when it starts, ensuring that the sufficient funds are available. We could also ensure that the capital funds includes the first year of maintenance costs, thereby avoiding any impact on any operational budget or Crowe dues until 2029 at the earliest. In the meantime, we respectfully request that the board confirm its continued support for the Celebration Sports Center, subject to the final construction bids and that there's sufficient capital resources available. We appreciate the board's partnership, its stewardship in Celebration's resources and the difficult decisions that they requires. We believe this is a moment when continued investment in community future deserves to remain a priority. Respectfully, Master Planning. Okay, so that was this letter. I wrote it and then gave it to the Master Planning Group before this meeting for comments, additions, changes. I will now open it up to members of the Master Planning Group or contacts here from the board for questions, comments, clarification, or just general discussion.
They're looking at us.
Us?
So,
Do you want to go first?
yeah, okay. You have a pretty good dichotomy here right now. If you watch the meetings, Katie and I have two different viewpoints on where the budget is and like what to do things. So I think that's actually healthy in here to be able to do. We don't know where the budget's going to be yet. I think that's the simplest answer on figuring pieces out. I agree that the capital fund is to go towards capital projects. Like that's what its intention and it is to do. There's things that I get concerned on. How long do we want to roll in maintenance of a facility within the capital fund? Because once again, we want to make sure that we can fund other things even beyond, a sports facility and those type pieces. I think the linchpin for us is really seeing where the RFPs come back. I mean, and understanding, is this something that we can afford to do within the capital fund or not? I mean, it's no secret we're projected another shortfall this year in operating, but we know that's going to happen. I mean, even if we were to stop doing a whole bunch of stuff between now and the end of the year, we're still going to have a shortfall like that. It's going to happen. But we know that now. I mean, we know that going into it, we tried to figure out how to mitigate it. I think it's good for more of the board to be exposed to this, beyond Katie and I. So I think this is good to have out there. And I think it's also important for this group to kind of know what the direction of the board is, because if there's no appetite to do something like this, then why continue spinning the wheels on it? Then say, is this something that you guys want to do? Do you want us to focus on something else? But when we set out with this was part of the charter. This is one of the things that we wanted to look to do for this group for this year. So to me, it would make sense. And once again, I'm speaking as one member of 7 right now. So sorry, Katie. Yeah.
No, I think this is considering like some of the conversations you may have heard from even the past workshop regarding the courts. I think this is very fair to check in with the board to make sure everybody is still on the same page. In my mind, all of this is going to happen naturally, just the way that you had said, like you're expecting, to find out if the board is still committed. I am, but it's subject to the final construction bids and confirmation that sufficient capital resources are available. So I think that's very fair. And, that's a very good approach to take. So for me, yes, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So what's a little frustrating for me is from a capital perspective, we kind of know all the answers already.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come in, but we kind of know. We have a projection, $1 million at the end of the year for the capital fund.
Yeah,
Again,
and that's,
with $700,000 for the sports courts. So if we didn't do the sports courts, what's the balance sheet?
like the third quarter, starting in the fourth
Okay,
quarter.
but pick a number between 1 million and 1.7 million. So I'm going to pick 1.3 million. Kind of know that number. And we know next year it could be another 1.7.
Mm-hmm.
3 million. We have a good idea that sports courts are going to come in at 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see in 11 days. Okay. So a month after that, we kind of know a lot of the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
right? What we don't know is operational shortfall.
Sure.
And what I would then say is, let's say the operational shortfall is $400,000 made up there. Say, okay, we're going to take another $400,000 out of capital, get over it. Not going to pay back the $200,000, get over it. It's $500,000. Okay. Don't like it? Understand it, right? You guys get all. I'll say, but that's okay. I'll say, but that's the number. Okay, but the number that's left, now we can go spend it, right? Oh no, you can't. You can do whatever you need to do to solve your operational and financial a long time. I understand all that. But once you declare that, then we should be able to proceed, assuming there's funding. And that's what worries me is, well, we got to wait and see. No. Assume you're going to take some money.
Right.
And can we still proceed? And if you don't take the money, then we have money to fix the swing set downtown,
Sure.
right? Fine.
So you want to know, basically, you want to ensure that this is a priority, assuming all other financial debts have been paid.
Yeah.
This is the next priority.
And I'm not surprised that it's not, because Don said in December when he sent the letter out, we're doing sports courts next, splash pads open next month. Master Planning Group presented to the board and they said, okay, looks good conceptually. Now, and so assuming the funding is there,
Right.
there's a lot of quotes around that, should be no issue, right? And in 11 days, this guy here and a bunch of other people, I wrote the RFP, we spent a lot of time on this. So we can I know he won't like it. We can drag our feet a little bit on this with the vendors, okay? But then when we're done dragging our feet, if the money's there,
Mhm.
we go.
You want to make sure that's still
Well,
the
I just want to
priority.
make sure we, well, because, somebody's writing notes on Facebook and because somebody wants to do something and because everybody's going to be upset that there's a 25% increase, we're going to stop investing. No, make it 28%.
Yeah, and
Or borrow from us or
Hey,
take from
Joe.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm done talking.
No, so Katie, you've asked, I think you mentioned it twice. We want this to be the next priority. I think it's different. It's a different ask. This isn't the next priority. This is sticking with the plan. And because the capital
Yes.
reinvestment was
One.
intended for these, we just want to stick with the plan. It has
That's all.
nothing to do with the operational priorities because it's a separate bucket of money. And to Joe's point, if we take from the capital fund what's needed to cover the shortfall, there still seems to be enough money. And if that's the case, we should stick with the plan. And I think that's the ask. It's not,
Just
this
want-
is the next
Thank you,
priority.
Alec. Well said. Just stick with the plan.
And
And we can delay it a little bit. We can take out some of the shrubs if you want, but we stick with the plan.
So Joe and Alec, I think I can say from my understanding of the workshop discussion that the board had, even people on different sides of the budget philosophy for this year, we're still on the same page of we do want to continue with the sports courts so long as funding's there.
right.
So
Well, then that should
yeah,
be easy.
board members diametrically opposed on the budget philosophy all agree that sports courts should continue, granted there's funding.
Okay, and in 11 days, we're gonna get back the RPs and then we'll evaluate it for a month and then we'll study it and then we'll come back with the recommendation. At that point, you'll know more, we'll know more. But assuming the money is there, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for me again, I don't want to speak for you, but it's to me, that makes sense. I think the only wild card, and I'll put the wild card in there, is understanding what the ongoing operational costs are for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like if we come back and we say, if Jacob comes back and says, we're going to need another quarter, for this.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to figure that out and factor that
We
in.
have a clear understanding of the operational.
Of the
impact.
operational expense,
So we're not
because
surprised.
what I don't want to do is then I don't want to saddle the capital fund as having to constantly offset operation of it, because that's not the point of it, because that's kind of what we've been doing now. So I want to make sure that we can, bleed, stop the bleeding somewhere with that. And I mean, I think we're close. I think, there's just, as Lauren said, there's differing kind of philosophies on how we get there, but we're getting there. I do think that it would be prudent within the 11 days that we get back the RFP, if we can figure out some of this. Well, I don't know. If we can figure out some of this before the budget has to be voted on in October, I think that's important.
Yeah. I'm gonna be able to look at the RFP and tell you in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I think-
okay.
This is not a complicated
It doesn't
RFP.
take long to
This is-
Right.
vet it at all.
It's not, I mean, it's not like this building where there was a lot of moving pieces or
No.
legacy
These are all
stuff and all that.
qualified contractors and it's
Yeah.
not
It's
simple
straightforward, see
scope.
what numbers are, make sure they're apples to apples and
Okay.
look at it.
I believe this is kind of project too, that you could get a lot of volunteers for to help. No, not building, for maintenance. And just checking IDs or something like that, that
You're gonna
there's a lot of people who are gonna like these courts.
Yeah, you're gonna have.
Right.
Who's the pickleball group, or are they still renting stuff somewhere? You know,
And
there's
and
money
the other
flowing.
thing that, we just need to remind everybody, in addition to the 22 courts, right? We're gonna have bathrooms for the dog park. We're going to have Lauren can correct me here. Whatever it is, the badge reader is, sitting out in the sun in the rain.
It's a conditioned space for the
Okay,
badger, yeah.
but- So there's a whole lot of other things. Now, the majority of it is sports courts, but there are some other.
Oh, the bathrooms are a huge plus to me. I mean, and I think the library will appreciate us having that there too. So,
Dogs going into there. I understand. Hey, so it's, okay. So I think Alex said it best. Thank you, Alec. I was talking too much. It's just stay the course.
I mean, if Lawrence saying everybody's staying the course, then.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's just,
We,
Right,
It's
like-
staying the course and also starting it on the same pattern of, later in 27, but upfront here.
Bids are due in
no, bids are due in 11 days,
yes, right?
September 1st.
Right.
I'd like to say
Have
11
we
days.
discussed any phased construction, like a site enabling package first?
It's all drawn, it's done, so to me, it's,
But if
Get it
there was
going,
like
but-
a cash flow issue, we
well,
could phase it.
that's why I wanted to start it at the end of this year and follow it into next year, so I can split the amounts and spread it out a little bit. It's not gonna take that long to build this, unfortunately, but to your point, the civil work's gonna take a while to
Right.
clean up.
We could be a civil package first.
Yeah, well, it's already done, and
Yeah.
did we get the permits back even by now? I don't know that
No.
answer, but,
No, so it's still in the civil process.
yeah, but
How,
anyway, that's gonna be ready very quickly.
To me, like, we were able to manage financially, we have a finance guy, the splash pads, we were able to handle town hall. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to handle sports courts,
I think,
just because we are tight. Slim. Operationally,
well, no, I wanted. We're not tight. We're in the hole. We've been in the hole since 2021.
right, but
And
we
we've-
still were able to do.
Oh, no, I agree with you. Yeah. But I think to me, we did that at the expense of essentially stealing from the capital fund. And I don't like that. And so to your point, though, we were able to figure it out. And I think that there's a figure outable answer with this, but my brain's very simple. To me, it's kind of like I want to go, if we have something that has an operating cost, I want to make sure we have the operating funds to be able to pay for it.
But we can't think in like silos, though, we have to.
No, I'm with you, but I think that we need to make sure that if we do look at this, and this gets into much more of an operational fees and assessments and all the stuff that we want to do, that's even way outside of what we get from capital fund. It's making sure that we actually do have the money to pay for the operations of the
Yes.
organization.
That's
Right,
added,
yeah.
because otherwise
And that's
it's
the
an
thing.
added hit to the operational challenge.
I think in the past though, like this to what from my perspective is, in the past, the capital fund's been sitting at like $4 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like, you had like $4 million there as like a huge cushion
Not
for
used.
everything. But now we,
Well, what's.
yeah, well, now we
Yeah.
used it for a huge,
Yeah.
a huge
851,
project.
and then we used it for the splash pad.
So now that, we're not sitting there with 4 million, now, everything's being looked at a lot closer,
Wait till-
which is natural. I would just say like, the main thing is, I think, and what we'll probably lean on finance for is that recommendation on when makes sense to, actually start so we could actually pay the final bill and still not like
But I
have a
do,
shortfall.
your point, and I think a couple of you made it, I think some of this, it's not like this, we're going to have a one big check due on day one.
It's
Right.
gonna-
So
Right.
if we, because I know, and this was talked a little bit about in the finance group last night, is just the cash flow problem, or I don't know the finance term, cash on hand. What is it? I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, liquidity. Thank you. Yeah, being able to actually pay the bills. Like, we know the money's going to come in, but I don't have it right now for today to pay this to pay this one. So I think looking at this to know that, okay, yes, we get the RFP back and it's a big scary number, but we go, well, actually, this big scary number is going to be spread out over 6-8 months. I mean, then it's a little bit
Gotta lay
more,
out the payment stream, your cash flow stream of the operating account, of the capital account, and be prudent,
Yeah.
but not too like, let's not do it just in case. Just in case, and obviously new home sales are the, the feeder system is the only uncertain number. The rest, you get a little more comfortable, but it's, I mean, every month it's 158.
Yeah, it's
60, so-
it's to me, I'm actually more comfortable with a little bit of the certainty around the capital improvement, as long as there's still construction and sales going on in Island Village. Once Island Village is complete, that's when I start to get a little nervous.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
we're okay.
While we're in this window, but this is the time to invest in some basic new amenities. We're not building a
Right.
$10 million community center, which we should. We're not doing some of the big projects. We're just doing sports groups.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah, that's what I was worried about, was exactly what you just said, and point that out of, we have a window here to do something.
To invest.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Because otherwise,
Ever.
the money will just be updated.
Yeah. One quick thing, when
Yeah.
we do get the RFP back, and if we whittle it down to a contractor, we can easily talk to them to tell us what the payment schedule would be.
Yeah,
And actually negotiate that, so that will be very clear where that cash outlay will be.
yeah, but I would
Yeah.
to add to that, if we are phasing construction or we want it to spread it out, that might change the
You won't
fee.
like it.
And then
That's something
Jim
that should
could
be
help
discussed.
facilitate
Right.
when those
Because,
should be
you know,
based
for
on
them, they
our
might
cash
get
flow.
it out.
Well, correct.
You just
So
don't.
it might actually be more costly to make it.
Mhm.
To
well,
try to get
after
back
all, yeah,
in local.
exactly.
And they like the money up front so they can pay. Say,
That's right.
not if you want the
That's
project.
actually my word.
And then
Right.
you have more flexibility. You can always pay
Yeah.
for it, but you just do it.
That should probably also be explained to the board
Oh,
as
okay.
well.
But that's after you told the guy, he's the guy now, so you know the
Okay.
bad news for you.
Okay,
I was just talking on vendor, talk offline. Okay,
They'd start to get building permits anyway, so the civil work.
and we know that took a while with splash pad
And then start
permits.
sitting there.
Sure.
That
Don't
would
have to be in a hurry for the permits.
Sure.
Yeah.
so just like
By
phase it
default,
out.
they go very slow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just a quick question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know who can answer this one, but I know last we spoke that, CF Todd was reviewing. So just from a permitting perspective, do we know the position? Is it through planning and engineering and to South Florida Water Management District or not yet?
So I know they received comments back from the county that are requiring a traffic plan. So that's going to be in front of the board at their next meeting. I think Jacob has the email in front of him with the other information, but that was the main commentary.
a lot of traffic on that road.
Wait,
Yeah.
Behind the library?
Alex, this is
Okay.
going to South Florida?
Oh my gosh.
It
If it's going to South Florida, that's like
I
a
have
6
a
month.
suspicion that would,
So the,
so I
yeah,
don't know. Have we gotten any feedback from
but it's, we're 3
Melissa?
months into it.
It's already gone to South Florida.
Oh,
But South Florida is.
No,
so-
it's going to CF Todd. I don't know that it's gone to South Florida yet.
oh,
Oh,
so they've asked, or CF Todd has
Probably will
requested
now,
more
so maybe
information. They have resubmitted, the engineers have resubmitted that information this week. This week, we were also informed that Osceola County has required this to have a traffic impact analysis. And we need to consult with a traffic engineering consultant for this matters. KPM is willing to consult or to manage this consultation, but the additional engineering is would be through another firm, and those are the next steps we're working.
but then after that, it's South Florida.
I'm sorry, educate me.
South Florida Water Management District, which is anything that's a civil site disturbance over like an acre,
Yes,
or if it's like vehicular in nature, I think it's parking
Yeah.
lots, right?
Mhm.
It has to go to South Florida, because all of the wet waterways
okay,
go to South Florida, but they are just, it takes 3 months to get into their queue to review. They'll often give you like a comment that's a nothing comment, and then it takes 2 more months, and then they get approval.
okay,
So
so
it's another 30 days until they issue the approval. It's just, as you stack it up, it's 6 months pretty much like minimum. And
Should
it's a
ask,
very
should
lengthy
ask about
process,
that.
but so CF Todd is the gatekeeper
got it.
for that. So if they approve it, then they can send it to. South
But this
They have
is,
not yet.
is this considered a parking lot?
It
Florida.
adds parking.
Vehicles, yeah.
Okay. It's parking stall.
I'll
like,
give
it's
Melissa a
little-
call tomorrow
Can
again.
you do that? Only because as we're talking about timing, if in fact, now, is that based on your Disney experience?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what takes Disney, and another 2 months for us,
I think
because.
it's anything, right?
So,
But it's okay.
It depends.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's the best news you heard all night, right?
We can.
Okay, anyway, we'll go.
Ask the civil engineers
Right.
where it's, what they
Yeah, okay.
really.
So Alec, if perhaps you could work with Lauren and just make that phone call to see, so to understand that process. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, we're gonna add an agenda item next. We're gonna ask Sean, who's patiently been waiting to speak. We can come back. when we're done with the meeting and the other topics, if either one of our board liaisons has any specific something they didn't like in a letter or things that should be removed, we can handle that offline at the end of the meeting. Okay. Sean, you're up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, on today's call. I apologize. I couldn't make the last meeting. Work has a way of getting in the way sometimes. So I'm Sean Owens. I live in Artisan Park, but the reason I'm here today is I'm the chair for the Security Camera Deployment Advisory Group, the one organization that we have that has the worst acronym ever. So no t-shirts or swag for our organization. Our charter essentially asked us to take a look at how Celebration utilizes security cameras today, and to be forward-looking, and to have an eye for the past, but also understand that as a organization, we're going into this with eyes wide open. My day job is I'm the executive vice president of security technology for First Coast Security. We're the largest provider of security to data centers, healthcare institutions, and other organizations as well as communities. TPC Sawgrass is one of our communities. But for the purposes of Celebration and making sure my neighbors still love me at the end of the day, I intentionally stand out of any sort of bid situations or anything having to do with the community, and just prefer to give my unsolicited advice, where possible. Thank you again for having me. One of the things that our charter asked us to look at, named your committee specifically as well, was to gather your feedback on how you view security as an asset to the community. And what I've shared with both the finance committee and everyone else, technology, and everybody that we've met with so far, individually and as groups, is that your security cameras are truly a life safety asset within the community, as much as they are for protection of assets and accountability and all of those other things people typically think about cameras. But where cameras get lost in the mix, where security devices get lost in the mix many times, is people don't think about them the same way they do like the wireless access point that's probably in the ceiling of that room that you're in. I see there's a fire alarm strobe on your back wall in there. All of those devices have a lifespan. All of those devices will have to be replaced one day. And too often, those devices, security devices, aren't thrown in with that lot. They're not planned the same way. We don't budget in reserves the way we should. That's been one of our initial findings, as we met with finance and as we've met with other groups. Some of the ways that we structured our reserve allocations for security cameras and the access control system don't even match up with the total value or even partial value of those assets. And what that means is we are always in a break-fix state. We are not strategic about the lifespan of this hardware the way we are that fire alarm sounder behind you, that wireless access point in the ceiling. We don't have that planned out and budgeted the way we should. And from your committee standpoint, you're looking at things and new places that we're building out, new amenities for the community. And I was really glad to hear the badge reader for the sports court brought up. You're forward thinking about the security assets in those amenities, what those should be. We also have to think about how we maintain them, because technology debt is a real danger, and it's a snowball. And if you let it go too long, that price tag goes from a very manageable number to something that becomes quickly unmanageable, or the strategic vision shifts over time. Several years ago, the board made a great investment in the security hardware of the community. They delivered best-in-class cameras, recording systems, everything, but there wasn't an effort made around maintaining it, and there wasn't a singular vision and continuity, as those systems aged out. And so variation when it comes to technology is oftentimes the devil. And when you let that variation take root, that's when your costs can start to balloon in unexpected ways and preventable ways. So all that said, kind of my initial question, and thought is, as we invest in the amenities intended to serve the community for the next 10, 20 years, should security technology infrastructure be treated as a standard design requirement rather than an optional add? I'll just throw that out, to the group. Feel free to throw things at me, but I'm sitting in Nashville right now, so it might be hard to reach me.
Well,
Yes.
so, so first of all, thank you, Sean, for being patient at this meeting and updating us. Mark, you had a comment?
I was just gonna say yes to that.
Yeah,
And anything that has our lights on or whatever else, there should be a camera watching things anyway. And putting that infrastructure in and conduit, whatever you need, so it's not something just lobbed on after the fact. You have a place where cameras are and what's needed for security period, so it looks integrated.
Yeah, so Sean, has your group, yeah, so I mean, I think, sure, we all want security. Sure, anybody doesn't want security? No, everyone wants security. Okay, so now what does that look like? Right? Does it look like, gee, we're gonna put a camera from every angle in every dog park, everything we have? No. Okay, so what is the one piece of paper? Okay, if you're gonna add a new amenity as a sports courts, it should have badge readers and it should have cameras in at least 3 different angles covering this. And that's for all new projects. For existing and a phased approach over the next 2 years, we will go retrofit any place that has a pool, any place that got a bedroom, whatever it is. I think once you write that up, sure. And then as my colleagues at the end of the table, you would say is sure. And now, unless somebody wins the lottery, wants to donate the money, my guess is it will be a phased implementation. But anything going forward, anytime you do anything, here's what you must do. Right. And that should be rather than us, what we decided, Mark decided, I don't know, Lauren decided, when we put the RP out, here's what we wanted. It should be, no, here's the standard. It's it's a 4K, camera, infrared, nighttime, whatever that all is, because right now it's done by a bunch of people who that's not their primary knowledge base, right?
And that's 100% right on. So in the security industry, and you hit on it exactly, you have facility standards and guidelines of design, that, based on the type of asset that you're trying to protect, the level of security required around that asset, that's what dictates your design. And there are best practices, industry best practices around that, as is standard and guidelines, highlight all of that very well. And so there are, a lot of, North Star examples, that we can look at, and none of it is a huge variance from what we were already intending to do, today. We just didn't codify it. We didn't have that consistent standard across the board. And so that is one of the things that our group is going to put together as a recommendation.
Good. Okay. So I appreciate you updating us. Any other questions?
No, I would just say that when we originally were going to pay for, I forget who it was, they were supposed to have cameras where your badge readers were. And then they don't. So, but for example, the Island Village Fitness Center.
Yep.
Everyone's got to have an ID to be
Yep.
there, but people will just use their badge and let 3 other people in. And that's the great thing about Cadence, because when they're here, they find these people and
Right.
tell them to leave. But there's also cameras in there, so when the people who don't have IDs start yelling at the Parks and Rec people or Cadence, they should be able to look at that and then suspend that person's card.
So Sean, I think
Well-
that, as you come up with that's key, because I would argue, okay, where the badge reader is, but that's a place that's already slightly controlled. I think we have other places that don't have badge readers that are, have public risk, whatever that is, where you want to, safety reasons.
So to me, oh, go ahead, Sean.
Sean, sorry.
Sorry. And just to go back to that, badge reader example really quick, some of the access cameras that you're already deploying today support object analytics that also, and this is all free. These aren't extra things. They're baked into the camera, where we can detect, piggyback. It's called piggybacking and tailgating. When one person swipes and multiple people enter, that could be somebody who was escorted. That could be somebody who was supposed to be there. There could be all those reasons. But when we can start to show you KPIs, when we can start to utilize the system, and that's been the other thing that we've learned over time through this process. There's utilization, differences between, I'll call it the rest of Celebration and, Artisan Park, for example. Where in Artisan Park, they're using the analytics, they're using a lot of, the different features within the system in order to make it more secure, in order to, prevent people, or not prevent people, but dissuade people who are coming into the pool area after hours. All of those things. The technology is all there. It's like the $6 million man. We've built it. We just need to use it correctly. So, and with that, I'll be quiet.
Thanks. Thank you, Sean. Really appreciate you joining us. I want to go back to the last agenda item, because I don't know if I think I need to make a motion. Make a motion that we send this letter, the letter we reviewed, to the board. Anybody like that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, good. Thanks. Okay, next, Alec and company, K8 Fields. I guess we have some good news as far as the election, a little bit local support on our school board. So that is good. Anyway, let's talk about it. Lauren, Alec? Somebody? Anybody? Alec, you off mute?
Yeah, so, congratulations to Greg, and I think that's another level of support for us there. No new news for us. I think when we left the last meeting, I don't know if we had action. I think it was, all right, we're going to put this in front of the board for a budget workshop. I don't know, it's, Catherine and I were talking earlier, and it's kind of difficult. It's like we're in a deficit, and we're going to ask for, another amenity to come online. So not sure how that looks, but how do we get this in front of the board the appropriate way before the budget meetings take place or is set, so that this can be prioritized against other things that are being proposed? And that's a question.
So for the board, it's another minimum 2 basis points if you add this back into the budget.
It remind me, capital versus operating, what exactly was this for? This is
So
for
this is for the maintenance. It's cutting,
maintenance of the
it's
fields.
power,
Okay,
it's water, right? It's some of the
Okay.
utilities, lights.
got it. So that's just ongoing maintenance. Okay, and yeah, but
How do we,
Yeah.
what's our step? How do I get this in front so, we can rally, support around it to take priority over another line item that's taking space in the budget?
Alec, the board's gonna be talking budget on their meeting next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. If you want to attend, We can put the numbers in front of them and we can show what the impact is on the budget. Eric, since you just walked in, the K-8 field impact, if it were to be on the budget, is 2 basis points.
Oh, okay.
So who did that calculation?
How much is that?
Alec and
there's
I agreed to the number.
Which is how much?
It's between $100,000 and $200,000 for maintenance of the fields for annually between
expensive.
electrical, water, landscaping.
Yeah.
And that's the 2 baseball fields, that open grass field, and the track.
Inside the track, yeah.
And again, just as a reminder for those who don't have good memories because we're getting older. So the advantage of us taking over the maintenance is that Celebration residents would have access to these fields.
When school
Okay.
is not in session, yes.
When school's not in session or there's not a school event taking place. So for $150,000 a year, you would get access to X, Y, and Z that we currently don't have.
I have one question as a resident on this, and you're all gonna hate it.
Go ahead.
Don't assume.
But my question as a resident.
Yeah.
Or homeowner is aren't I already paying tax dollars to maintain these fields?
Katie,
But
that's
you-
the exact argument that was brought forward when the agreement with the school district was canceled.
But the school district says, sure, I understand
think-
it, and you still don't have access, so, okay, so if you
Yeah.
want access, you gotta pay twice. And if you don't want access, don't pay twice. But, so the real question is, for $150,000 a year, you could get, residents get access to, and, whoever it is, the flag football, whoever was playing in that field there all the time, every time you drove by, there's somebody playing there, those people would get access to it,
Yeah.
Right.
Front part.
in the front part, right?
Yeah.
But now you get access to that.
Katie's point, why won't our school taxes go down?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we
okay.
go.
Yeah, good luck.
No.
Anyway, the reality is, it's a pay to play and, and I don't disagree with what you said, but
Mhm.
you can ask Greg that question and let him explain to you how.
I think
Yeah.
the school district's having enough trouble just to
But there,
keep administration,
Yeah,
I
so
think there's challenges and struggles there.
so.
That's very true.
So you give them 150,000 and they don't have to fire three teachers and that's why they want to do it. And the question is, this is the worst possible year. You could say, okay, listen, I got this great idea for just $150,000. We can get all this cool stuff. You don't have to
Yeah.
build anything. Don't have to.
Nope.
We know what it is. It's already there. I'm just going to give you the keys. And
Yeah.
that's something the board's got to decide.
Mhm.
And it's worst year to ask for it. Last year, next year, maybe.
Well, one question with the keys, does that mean it actually will be open though? What I still wonder about is what will the access actually be?
So if I want to go play basketball in the
Yes.
parking lot on a Saturday afternoon, is the door literally open?
Right.
Is there a badge reader for
think-
Celebration residents?
Run around
We
the
used
track.
to unlock it when we were maintaining it. We unlocked it and locked it every morning and every evening.
Okay,
Okay, so assuming
I
that's in
think, I
there,
think you would have a mix of availability. Some would be public amenities, the track, the open grass areas, maybe not, right? And some others would be by schedule, like some of our other
Yeah.
amenities.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
but to Lauren's point, the park monitor would open it, it'd be available, and they would lock it.
okay.
So how do you
Managed.
keep it just to Celebration residents?
I don't think you
You
would.
don't,
You
you
can't.
don't, you don't. You
So it would basically it'd be open for the county, but the residents would be paying for it,
Yeah,
the homeowners.
well, that's,
That's a lot of money.
So
That is a lot.
the other question that I would come into this is the access would include, let's say we go back to the unlocking the gate. So there's someone there to unlock the gate. The issue that always came up was the bathrooms. And so bathroom access for that would be this building because it wouldn't be the gym wouldn't be included in that openness, right? But this building's not open on the weekend all the time now.
Right.
Correct.
So we would need to figure that part out. Okay, all right.
I think from a wrestling perspective, at least I can speak on behalf of Little League. We have partnership with the school, just like CCA sports do. And so if we have activity on a Saturday, then Little League is paying for access to the bathroom. If Little League is not in session, then there's no bathroom. If basketball is not in session, then there's no bathroom. And I think that's how it was before.
Hey, Alec, I got a question. If the board says, you know what, not this year, sir, we don't have the money. Let's just talk about what you do have what you pay for now, which is the baseball fields. Does that mean the baseball fields get less maintenance? How's that affect baseball fields, business as usual maintenance?
Well, we have a field day for all of our volunteers in our league this coming Saturday because there is no maintenance. So
Okay, so you
if
guys will
Little
bring
League
your
does,
own rakes.
if
and
Little League does
leave.
not maintain the fields, they go into disrepair, which is
Because the school doesn't.
school
Got it.
cuts it. That's all they do is cut it.
Okay, all right.
So what is the probability they're gonna go along with this?
0.
Oh, no. I mean, listen, if we're gonna offer up
Oh, no,
Paying for the-
it's a different question is, you asking about the
Oh.
school district or the
Yeah,
school
school
district? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
school district, of course. Of
three
course.
teacher salaries. You just hired 3 teachers with that 150,000.
Yeah, but they're giving up their fields.
But the field, they're not using
No,
the fields
no.
on anyway.
They were set up there.
Okay, we're still gonna have some pay to play people. right?
Yeah,
So that will help offset some of the maintenance.
You'll get a
No,
little bit.
no.
You won't get a ton. I mean, out of 150,000, you're getting less than 10 grand.
okay.
But no, to Jim's point, the CROA wouldn't be responsible for scheduling the pay to play pieces during those times. Those agreements would still be with the county, meaning that those registration fees and those sort of things would still go to the county
Yeah.
at those point in times. It would just be available
Not
during
necessarily.
Okay.
So
To be
previously, CROA
negotiated.
received revenue from Little League for use of the fields. That doesn't happen anymore because Little League pays the school district. I don't know what the
Right.
school district agreement is going to be moving forward if we agree to maintain the fields, if they want to retain that revenue or not, especially if they're using their restrooms.
So
Right.
when the agreement was canceled, I spoke with Shanoff and Mr. Whedon, and we have a excellent relationship with them. And we pay only for a custodian when we need the bathrooms open on the weekend. So it would actually be an up to Little League if we went this route and we were to pay.
So
For the fees we
I
were.
look at the risk of making this awkward, more awkward than Katie made it. Okay.
Katie, you making things awkward again?
So
apparently.
I just want to know if we go around the room, what do people feel? You know, this is allocating operating funds, but it's still under our umbrella. Are we supportive? Neutral, negative? Because I could argue this either way.
I love having access to the.
I think access would be great. I think, all things being equal, but putting aside the budget issue for a second, I think for 150,000, we all think, what do we think?
I would,
I mean,
I would suggest, I would just suggest you review this as members of master plan based on the master plan proposal, not as just your.
Yes, well, that's what I'm asking it as. Yeah, as a master plan.
Master plan or personal?
We
No,
don't.
master plan, baseball was underserved, right?
Right.
We did master
Yeah.
plan
Yeah.
and you could get access to this and other amenities.
And fields to practice anywhere.
And
So
feels, yeah.
the East Village, that big lot is
Yeah, I know.
practically useless.
This isn't capital money.
Especially after it rains, it's a mud pit. You can't play sports on it.
But there's also another,
Yeah.
there's a.
So
Anyway, I'm just trying to see if we're generally
Nowhere
supportive.
else for people to
It
practice.
sounds, are we generally supportive?
I'm supportive.
Sort of seeing how far it goes and what it actually
Okay,
costs.
so you've got a majority, Alec, saying we're supportive, okay? So,
Yeah.
so,
What-
so when you either send whatever you want to do to get to the board, to the CROA board, know that the master planning group is supportive. Okay,
Great, thank you.
okay,
Lauren,
okay.
Lauren, what do you need from a mechanics or I guess I should ask you, Jacob, what do you need from a mechanics standpoint? Because if we want to get this on the agenda, do you want me to ask for it to get added?
No, we'll just add it as a discussion item.
Okay. Yeah,
Ancillary to
I-
the budget.
Now they're at.
Yeah, okay.
Village Park.
Okay.
Stuck on me?
Do you have everything in writing that you could?
Yeah, well, one page, Alec, I think we just need a one-page little, here's
We'll
what
modify
access
our-
we get.
we'll
We built
modify
a
our-
properly sloped.
Very simple. Here's how much it costs and here's what the cost benefit. Here's how much it would cost
It was actually.
and here's what the benefit would be. Okay?
We'll modify our deck that Catherine and I shared.
I know you
to
had the
be
deck, but
Consolidated, yeah, we'll modify. it to be the
consolidate the one
pager.
page.
Yep.
Just 150, whatever, whatever it is. And, right,
But you need, when you send the board packet out soonish, right?
Friday morning.
Friday morning.
so Friday morning, so that means today's Wednesday.
Okay.
They would need it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Should we make a motion?
Okay.
that we recommend-
No, we did. We also need support.
Yeah, but you should make an
Okay.
actual motion.
Who was the landscaping?
Okay, we're gonna make a motion. Well, Alec, we're making a motion, I make a motion that we,
United?
support going to the pro board asking for $150,000 a year, to go, work with the school to get access to the fields, et cetera. Fine. Second,
Second.
all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Most of us, and one abstention. Fine, guy would understand that. Okay,
Negotiate really well.
yeah.
It's funny.
Right, okay. Next update is the Lot D Development Subcommittee.
I just think that sounds good. Lot D develop. Like the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katie, we've had a discussion, we've had a discussion amongst several committee members, given the current financial, where we are
Mhm.
with the shortfalls. There's no support from the master planning group to do anything right now. It's just not right now, just saying, given that we're not gonna.
Yeah, that's, I mean, everything for the charter doesn't need to all be done at once.
We're just-
You know, like, so you're working on the courts and everything that has to do with that right now. That's fine.
Well, so we can work on lots of things, but what we're saying is, in our priorities, what we think overall, knowing what we know about sports courts, playgrounds, just everything that's on the plate, that this, it's got two issues. One, where do you put it? And okay, how does that potentially impact the community center or anything else, and parking, et cetera? I mean, I don't know if you put the maintenance up there, don't you need to go to a parking study?
I mean, those are something.
It's gonna cost a whole lot of money just do all that stuff. Let's just, right now, we have our short-term priorities prioritized, and this, I don't think, has support to do anything at the moment.
I think though, some of those discussions and questions that you have could still kind of
We still have the
happen,
meeting, so
just
with
not
looking,
spend any money on anything. Right,
Right
not
now.
like getting
yeah,
anything,
but we
like
can go
any
continue to
surveys
do
done.
work and,
But like trying to figure out, like you said, the location.
Right.
And like what that would look like, and just kind of like to get things kind
I'd
of
be
like
more than
in
happy to go to any
order.
meetings to talk about that, and
Oh, we already have. It's on me, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to do it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
It's solving an operational problem,
mhm,
and if we're not doing anything else, I don't feel like doing it for free.
mhm.
That I'm
Good.
literally doing pre-design conceptual planning for something that's for an operational need.
Mhm.
I don't feel like as a resident.
I see what you're saying.
For doing that for free.
Yeah.
I just don't. That's what I get paid to do. And with all the other vendors out there, and in the past, these things are usually paid for. But yeah, it fits there, and I know
Mhm.
it'll work. I can make it work.
Mhm.
I can answer that without even drawing it out. But
Okay,
it's the effort that I need to put into it is not something that I'm personally willing to do.
I think it's more than fair.
No, I
Yeah.
think, I
Yeah.
think
That's
knowing,
As
That
an
part
architect,
is-
you'd be paid to do professional services, and that really is at this point. And it's a operational need that we run into because Island Village doesn't have anything. We don't have enough here that I think that's beyond.
I think the thought was, you know, if that's as far as we can get. And, but that, the thought was like, how are we going to develop Lot D?
Yeah,
And
well-
if the consensus by the master plan group is that we can fit a shed there and it'll be in that spot, then like that's where we're at right now. And like, that's okay, then maybe we just need to say when we're ready to do that, that's where it will go. Like, cause I think right now we don't even have like an actual spot. So being able to say, okay, when it's time to build it, this will be the spot, and then, you know, go from there. And however we go about like designing and everything. But like the main thing is, okay, maybe what I'm looking for is commitment. Like we're gonna commit that spot, and it's if that's correct, like your group's
It's a-
recommendation.
Our recommendation is the best available spot,
Mhm.
okay?
I can,
Best
I won't
available.
guarantee, but I think it'll easily work. Plus, whatever we end up doing as a community center next.
I'll say it in a different way, and I think I'm going to say the same thing as you just did. It's more of we know that this is an operational need, to your point, like this is an operational need. We know that we would be taking away a valuable piece of land from this group
Right.
for a operational need. And so it's one of those things where we would, you know, absolutely, this would have to go out to an RFP. It would need, you know, we need to pay for design work and all that stuff to be done on building, you know, a maintenance facility there. But we know that impacts this group's plan, like, because it's taking away our,
Last piece.
you know, the last piece that we got right now.
Because you had a basketball court there when you.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's fine. I think it will fit. I can just say that. I
Mhm.
was gonna draw it. What I don't feel like doing is drawing it for free.
No, and I don't think you
That's
should.
my view.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should. Yeah, so.
But
Yeah.
I think it'll fit. The X factor is actually the parking, but I think we can get that to work.
But
Yeah.
like fitting and also like
Does it make
knowing,
sense?
does it make
No,
sense?
it doesn't
Is
make
that
sense.
gonna
then.
be-
Yeah.
No, that's the last place you'd want to put, I mean, we're building this corridor to be, you know, resident alley. Putting a maintenance shed, you know, in between all this other stuff is not what you'd want to do. But then say, okay, you have another
It's
record.
a CCD, so it really is just a blob there
Mhm.
that's doing the exact same function right next to it.
You know, but-
What would be handy still, and no, I'm not ever gonna be stupid enough to run for that board, is connect the two.
Yes, of course.
So for instance, this will take quite a bit of parking, truck access, all this stuff. Boy, if that could be shared the other way with their, and your stuff,
Right,
there's a way to even compress it more potentially. So there's lots of avenues with it. The only thing that it does do is take away being able to move a community center back to provide even more parking for special events.
Sure.
So the X factor is you're definitely gonna have less room for special events. It's already fun now, filling up that entire field. That's always gonna be a problem. So you have to figure out when you do a concert out there, how do you deal with it?
Right.
So
But it's
basically,
not an issue with soccer or anything else. There's plenty of parking.
basically, we just want to put this off until the sport courts are done.
I just, until we get approval, at least on the sports courts. Because we all invested a lot of time on that.
Yeah,
And
you know, finance.
if you have to, okay, do it, right, but let's get the sports courts done.
Yes.
That is, you still
That-
need to
that'd
put
be
this out to
approved.
architects get it designed,
Yeah.
blah, 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 find out the real cost. Yes, so
Yeah, and I think what you've done is the first part to, you know, kind of like look at the layout of Lot D to see like, okay, well, how will this layout be utilized? And there's obviously a need for a shed. Okay, will it fit on this shed? I mean, on this parcel of land appropriately? And if it does, then like that's the first part. Like that's
Right.
Well, I would say.
you basically already accomplished like half of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'd go
what I
back
haven't
once.
done is actually, I do know what the program is. That's where I'm just getting frustrated. I
Mhm.
don't actually wanna.
No, but you-
Professional services, but I could draw it out and get it laid out. And then again, there's other avenues to possibly condense it. Do I think it's the best place? It's the only spot left to actually put it. So there's not many other choices there. And it does make complete sense. It would be nice working on the access, but it also has the benefit of accessing the back of the future community center there. That want a little bit of space also. There's lots of things about it that do work. And so my only concern is what it does for parking, but it really doesn't impact it. The thing with the community center is the main volume of it is a gym. I know how big that is, already seen it. It's actually a cute little diagram we did, or I did. The other piece of parts, there's nothing saying that it couldn't be 2 stories and do whatever else, and parts of it can stack or in what's in it. So it's a lot of decisions on that.
So what it,
Okay, just,
it sounds like
So-
you're just pausing it for now.
okay, so
Yeah.
2 things though, I wanted
The
to,
reality is, even if it went forward and I did something, you would still need to do the same process we just did with everything else.
Sure.
Is get an architect to design, the design team, find out what it costs and run with it.
But the spot is Lawton.
Okay.
Yeah.
so,
Somewhere else.
okay, a couple of things.
Too bad.
Just, you said we did the versus step.
Mhm.
Actually, the last master planning group, of our members who are no longer here, did the first step, which is they studied and analyzed the current lot where
Mhm.
they are and determined that that is not feasible to expand to meet the needs. It's a lot of work they did. Second, I would just voice a concern. We don't know exactly what the community center that will be built in the 2030s, okay? But in my mind, you got a dog park, you're gonna have a sports center, and then you have a community center.
Mhm.
10 years from now.
Right.
That community center, how many spots, because remember, we had in there a theater, we had some things there. If you're gonna have, how many parking spots are you giving out?
I did the parking count for it.
But how
I
many
did-
parking spots do we lose with putting in the maintenance shed in the middle of this corridor?
It
Well, it's basketball court.
might be not very many, depending on how it's done.
Okay, but I'm just saying is whatever that is, we should just understand, okay, we're doing
In
this.
other words, the parking for a community center will fit. It's that X factor again of how do we handle other events? But the amount of parking required for community center,
You got enough room
and
to
I
place stuff.
assume that the parking that's in place already for the soccer fields with that parking lot must be what meets that requirement. I have not delved into that. But I'm assuming the built parking is all that was required for that piece. If that's the case, I definitely got in the spaces, the building. I had the number of spaces for the size I did, and I threw the whole ball of wax at that thing.
Okay.
And technically I drew a number, I didn't need pickleball courts. But that included a whole bunch of meeting rooms. It included a theater, black box, theater kind of space,
Yeah.
locker rooms, all sorts of stuff, plus the full, gym exactly this size.
Plus an outdoor
Yeah. I had that
basketball
space
court,
also.
which being transferred
Behind
to
it,
the
which would be,
courts opens up
yeah,
some space.
the amount of parking that is required for the 5 million trucks, I mean, the X factor, but to me, that's still.
And just as a reminder, isn't when this
Places.
lot, the people park now on lot D when the soccer have,
A little bit.
okay, so just get
But-
reflected there. Okay, listen, we're gonna, I'm sensitive to time. So we're gonna wrap up with Jim giving us a financial update.
Okay, to Joe's point, so next year, we're gonna have to rely on capital fees.
Yep.
With the capital. So to your point, through 7 months, we're at 1,110,000. Which if we were just getting 1 year's worth of dues, we would be getting 377,000. So that's 733,000 more because of the capital.
Mhm.
It's also 363,000 more than last year through July. Now, Island Village Phase 2, 2A only has 7 townhomes and 1 home that's still are available. 73 of 76 sold closed, so 3 more have need to close. Phase 2B has 250 homes and townhomes, 62 are sold, but only 28 have closed.
Great.
So we have a lot of opportunity there to move forward. We are sold 80 more homes, townhomes and condos. Well, actually homes and townhomes this year than we did last year through July. 62 of those are Iowa Village Phase 2. So now the only issue right now is things have seemed to almost stop in August as far as sales. It's usually, last year was the lowest month as well, but I've talked to realtors, they're all seeing the same thing. It's because school's starting and all that kind of stuff. You're still seeing a lot of people coming down from the Northeast and coming from the West, and even California, coming into Iowa Village Phase 2 perspective. As far as the capital fund, yes, we, at the end of July, we're at $1,328,000. Fortunately, we still have $291,000 to spend on this building. To bring us up to $4.1 million in total. So as long as home sales pick up for the rest of the year and the board doesn't approve any other capital projects, we should still be at $1 million, even though.
But that million, I'm sorry, does that not include 700,000 for the sports cards?
It includes 500,000.
Okay, so if we spend no money in sports courts and home sales come in as you project, and we don't spend any other capital projects, the balance is approximately 1.5 million. Okay.
Yeah, so if we just,
And that assumes that no repayment from the money that's been borrowed, or whatever the nice word is, transferred, subsidized.
right, and it also,
So assumes no
and also
repayment.
taking effect to the decision that the amount that was being allocated to the capital fund
Is stopped.
in
Okay,
order
so you
to
don't get,
hopefully get that deficit down.
okay, so,
So we can.
okay, so no repayment, no, I'm not using the word, no repayment, no more money moving over 1.5.
Yes,
And if we spend no money next year and the sales keep going at 150 in a month, you'd be over $3 million to be spent on operating costs, other capital projects, and sports.
I would say hopefully not operating costs.
I would say that too. But I'm just saying is,
Yeah.
as you look, you say, okay, if I take the 3 buckets and then if
Yeah,
you and then you say, okay, is there enough for sports courts? If there is, right, then you,
I believe, unless something happens here. Where
but despite the sports
sales
courts.
are slowing down, that'll delay it. But if we get the RFPs back, we have discussions for a couple months. So we say, okay, we're going to start production on January 1st. I think that would be okay. The biggest problem was when they were saying they wanted to delay it to 2028 is all those RFPs.
That's
are
awesome. Yeah, you're not gonna-
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the
You
important.
can't just. Well, and it sounds like from a permitting perspective, even if you want to start sooner, that's not gonna happen. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim. Any other questions before we adjourn? All right.
Nope.
Motion to close, second, all in favor, yay. That's-
I-
Thank you, everybody.